Hi everybody, this is the C8 LG OLED, the 2018 OLED model. I'm here to show you guys the motion handling with the Motion Pro setting on. This is another name for black frame insertion, or LG's name for it. Sony labels it under clearness, but it is able to be enabled on game mode. And that is the only reason why I actually even considered getting this. So, and that's the main reason why I got the A1E, is because it has black frame insertion in game mode, because I cannot handle that blurry mess that is created on sample and hold televisions, which are all OLEDs and all LED televisions. So I'm going to use this Night in the Woods demonstration here. This is a really good example of what Motion Pro or what black frame insertion can do. So let's say you pan to the right. The letters don't look that bad, at least not on my camera, but as you see here, going back and forth, when the camera's panning, look at the letters. They become blurry. They lose their focus. So I have a hard time reading them. You can especially see here on the historic Possum Springs, when you move, it's just big blur, and in person it looks like ghosting, even though it's not ghosting. It's just the blurry interpretation of your retinal persistence that is caused by sample and hold technology. So we turn this on. It's putting a black frame in between every frame. You're seeing a black bar, but that's not actually there in person. That's just the camera picking it up. There's a black bar inserted in between every frame, which tricks your eye into thinking it is a smoother transition. So here, when I go back and forth, you can see historic Possum Springs remains in focus. Sorry, my camera's picking up, it's kind of juddery and not working very well. That's not the television. The television is actually quite smooth here. But yeah, I don't have the best camera, but it's just for demonstration purposes. So as we're running, let me see, because I'm operating the controller, the TV controller, and the camera with two hands. So let me see here. I'm going to try to put it on while I'm running. Off. That was a good example on my camera. It actually showed it how it looks in person here. So let's see. Turn it off. Turn it off. Turn it off. Blurry. Focus. Yeah, my camera seems to be compensating for some of this blur and actually focusing some of the text while on the recording, but sometimes it's not doing it, and you can actually see the what black frame insertion is doing. Oh, that one you didn't even see a difference here. Blurry, yeah, that's a good representation. You see how it got really blurry and then all of a sudden in focus when the camera stopped? That blurriness is how it looks like in person. So, and when you turn it on, it stays in focus like that. So, and that's not just in text, that's in all detail. That smeariness goes all across the screen in motion. So that is why I really like black frame insertion on these televisions, the A1E and the C8, because it really does make a huge difference. And the most wonderful thing about the C8, I don't know if I just got extremely lucky or if it's across all C8s, that, here, I'll turn this off so you guys don't get a black bar. There, I do not have, as you saw in the loading screen of Inside, it's a very gray game. Gray games and gray movies and things that were very toned, focused mostly in that color tone of the grays, dark grays, light grays, always demonstrated the banding in the OLEDs. And going into the 65-inch size always made it very apparent and easy to see. But with the C8, I see no banding. I use this game as a stress test for banding on any OLED that I've tested, and every single OLED, every single one, you've been able to see banding on this game inside. It's very easy to see. And the movie Snowpiercer is also another very gray-toned movie that that really makes the banding very, very apparent. So I'm very, very pleased to find out that this TV has no visible banding during any playthrough of Inside. Any sections that used to demonstrate that bandings very easily is now not there. And that was one of the major downsides of owning an OLED. Is one of the few downsides of having the OLED is the fact that it had that banding. And now, because it's not there, the image just looks so pristine, so nice. I haven't seen a TV that looks as nice as this. Not even the A1E. The A1E that I had, yes, had banding and was visible with gray content and just above black, like screens that were fully just above black. So now it's really nice to not have that banding, and I'm floored by how clean and how nice the image looks. And one really nice thing is the fact that this has a simulated setting, kind of like Sony A1E's setting that made color transitions, like sky in the sky, that you see that line in between each tone. You know, in the sky there would be those lines that you see in almost everything. And here there is this setting. Thanks to the Alpha 9 processor, apparently they are able to copy what Sony did with their X1 Extreme chip, and it works really well. I'll insert a clip from Evangelion, the Blu-ray, and I'll demonstrate to you how effective they are in between. It does not work very well for low bitrate content, so stream anything that you're like streaming from your home computer, or if the quality is not very good. It doesn't work very well in dark scenes. It will smear everything because it can't distinguish what is where is the transition between the different tones, because the quality is just not good enough. But it works extremely well on anime, on a lot of flat content like this game, or like most video games. But let's say you download from CD sources television shows, let's say Game of Thrones. There's a lot of dark scenes in Game of Thrones where if you have a low bitrate content, there's a lot of macro blocking, a lot of artifacts, and having that setting on does smooth it out. And I actually will get a clip to show you from the television show The Path on Hulu, where there is a dark scene, and it's actually not, it's a low bitrate content, but it's HD streaming, and it still smears all the detail out. So it's not that great for streaming content, or very dark scenes. But for video games, I have it enabled on here, and there's no smearing. So yeah, even without that setting on, there is no banding like how the other OLEDs had. I am very, very impressed by this television. So I don't know if I hit the panel lottery and just got one that is very, very good with banding. When you put a 5% gray screen on the TV, it is you can see there is some banding. It's very, very light, and it is it's difficult to see unless you're really focusing on it and want to look at it. So you're trying to find it, then yeah, you can see it. But in content, unlike the other OLEDs where yeah, it looked worse in a 5% gray screen, but it was always difficult to see in real life content, except in those gray tones and in those dark scenes. And now, not even in that content, I can see the banding on this. I have not seen in any real life content that any media and anything that I have tested this on, video games, anime, movies, Blu-rays, streaming, and especially one common thing was whenever you went into here, into any of, let's say, Netflix, or you see that gray panel that just went across the screen, you would notice the banding on screens like that. And now, not anymore. Don't notice it on any of that, any content whatsoever. It's very, very impressive. So just very, very pleased with the television, and the fact that you can have HDR with dynamic tone mapping in game mode without suffering any input lag is very, very impressive, and is just a testament to what the Alpha 9 processor is able to do. So it's not just marketing. This actually works really, really, really well, and I'm very impressed. I actually like this. Yes, one downside of this is the fact that it doesn't have it's TrueMotion for movies. I don't use black frame insertion during movies because of the flicker, but in this TV I actually haven't seen flicker yet. I haven't tested it extensively, so I can't say for sure, but the TrueMotion, the black frame insertion I don't use for movies, and I depend on the interpolation features of the televisions like Sony's TrueMotion, or no, not TrueMotion, their motion settings, I forgot the name, but this LG's interpolation features is labeled under TrueMotion, and it's not as good as Sony's. Sony's has less sort of artifacting that happens with fast motion and less soap opera effect, but with this one, if you go into, let's see, well, I need to change the input because you can't have that feature on game mode. So here, a good balance where you won't see much soap opera effect and much artifacting is a de-judder of 3 and de-blur of 2. If you're super sensitive to it, you can always decrease this to 2, decrease this to 1. But this balance of having 1 point above de-blur on the de-judder is very effective, and it looks very nice. It's satisfactory to me. It's good enough, and it's pretty good. Not as good as Sony's, but still very, very close, and very enjoyable to watch. So, and in some cases I've actually seen it have a bit of a smoother effect than Sony's, and in a smoother but not soap opera effect. So it's very impressive. At times, not in every situation it's gonna work. It's not gonna, you can't really compare, you know, this TrueMotion with Sony's motion settings, because they're flat out better in that way. but I don't think very significantly. You know, using the A1E extensively and now using this one, I would take that trade-off of this one with no banding and having pretty good motion handling outside of black frame insertion with the TrueMotion settings. It's well worth trade-off. So I'll do some more testing and see if I can provide you guys with any more information. Go ahead and put in the comments if you want something specific, if you want a type of gameplay or with a certain combination of settings. It's not really, I'll do what I can if I have the game, or if I can just show you guys a demonstration. But yeah, that'll be all for now. See ya.